Hey, Mike Coltharp here. If you're watching this video, then that means that you just clicked on my QR code on your door hanger. And thank you for doing that. What I wanted to do is explain a little bit about what I do so that you have a better feel for what you're getting yourself into. You know, I'm up on a mountain right now, as you can see, and I'm at a place called Griffith Rock Quarry. It's in Northern California. For those of you who are in Northern California, it's in Newcastle, Loomis, Newcastle, right on the border. And I'm up on a peak over here where you can look over Folsom Lake and Loomis and Newcastle and those cities down below. And it got me thinking about Mount Everest. Now, I don't know anyone who's climbed Mount Everest, but I have watched some shows, and it's really interesting watching these brave men and women and how they prepare to climb that mountain. And then once they're up to the top, going down is the most dangerous. And that's when things happen. That's when the fatalities occur. That's when people run out of oxygen. The storms hit because, you know, the mountain's so high that it has its own storm system, really, it seems. So it's a lot like retirement. You know, when you're preparing for retirement, you're climbing up the mountain, if you will. And while you're climbing up the mountain, there's a lot of things you can do to save your money. You know, people doing money and putting money in 401ks, assets under management, which is like Charles Schwab, things like that. You may have a financial advisor, and you may have money in the stock market on your own. And putting money into those vehicles is great for accumulation. And, you know, a lot of people make money in the stock market. But when it comes to retirement, that's when you're going down the mountain. And just like when the hikers are going down Mount Everest, you know, if they run out of oxygen, there's really no other options if they're not low enough to where there's enough oxygen to breathe. And it's just the same thing with retirement. You know, when you're in retirement, you're no longer contributing to your funds, your retirement account. And so then it makes it difficult to where if the economy takes another dive, right? It's happened 25 times since 1929. I'm not sure if you were aware of that or not, but in 2008, one of the most recent recessions, it took 11 months for the markets to hit bottom. Almost a year. Right. And so it took several years for the market to actually recover. And so the question really lies in that when you're ready to retire, the 5 years before, or perhaps 5 years after you retire, can you afford to lose money in the market? Right. So if the market takes a 20, 30, 40% hit like some people did in 2008, is that going to restrict you or delay your retirement? Or if you're in retirement and you're in your later years and another 2008 hits, what is that going to do to your assets? Do you have assets that are set up to give you unlimited income producing assets, so that there's no worries financially? For instance, you know, there's a time where some people have to deal with more expenses for medical, right? And it could be to where you end up in a care home, or your spouse ends up in a care home, and that's money. You know, sometimes it's $1,000, $2,000. I've seen some memory care facilities almost 10 years ago that were $4,000 a month. And so what about inflation? Right? You know, I don't have to tell you much about inflation right now because, you know, we know that everything's more expensive right now. What if that happens when you're retired and it gets even higher, right? I mean, I've seen some things where there's 100% inflation, right? Just look at the fuel, for instance, right? 4 years ago, fuel in California was down as low as $2.50, $3 a gallon. And now it's been up to $6 a gallon, right? And so what if that happens when you're in retirement? And the difference is, you know, when you're in the accumulation phase or climbing up your mountain, right? You're working, your spouse is working, and whatever type of job you have, you're either working overtime or you're getting bonuses, whatever it is, That's not happening anymore when you're going down the mountain. So when you're going down the mountain, it's time to start preparing yourself so that when you're spending your money, it's going to last you forever. And so if the economy starts doing what it's been doing historically, and inflation continues to go up, what is going to happen to your retirement income? Because you're no longer contributing. It's now time to start consuming or decumulating your assets. And at that time, that's when it might be time to find somebody who can help you with this program or this strategy, right? Because it's not just a matter of saying, okay, I'm retiring, now I have a whole lump sum of money. Because how long is that money going to last? Now, most of the economists used to say there's this thing that used to be called the 4% rule. Now, this 4% rule was that, in the financial world, it was generally accepted that if you have a lump sum of money, you can't spend more than the interest, right? So that essentially is about 4%. And they say that if you keep your growth in your accumulation or your assets really at 4%, then you can basically live on the interest. Well, after several years, it's been discovered by these same economists that 4% rule is actually like a 2.4%, 2.7% rule, okay, depending on who you ask. So the question really is, how much money do you need to have in order to live on 2.4% of your assets, right? How much money were you planning on having during retirement without working? So it's a different concept. And as an example, so let's say that you want to start a campfire, right? When you start a campfire, you're going to use some sort of fire starting tool, matches, a little torch, or in my case, I was a Boy Scout when I was younger. They threw diesel fuel on the pile of wood, and then they would throw a match on there, and then it would start, right? So you use particular tools to light the fire. Well, when it's time to put the fire out, do you use a match? No, you don't. Do you throw fuel on the fire? No, you put water, right? And so it's completely opposite of what you did to start it. And it's the same thing with retirement. When you're saving for your retirement money or your retirement years, you're putting money into that account. And it's going to grow, it's going to lose money, it's going to do whatever. But the idea is that you're consistently contributing to that account. Well, when you're going down your mountain, or you're in retirement, you're going to want to make sure that you have a different tool or a different advisor or process that's going to help you in this different or new program or strategy that you have to use to start spending your money. See, when you're accumulating your money throughout retirement, you're saving the money for that time where you're going to actually be able to spend that money. So wouldn't it be nice to have that money available so that you can spend without worrying about the market, without worrying about whether your income is going to go up or down because the economy is going down, or maybe you own real estate and your renters are going away, or maybe the economy is so bad to where you lose a lot of renters, right? What happens to your income then? So wouldn't it be nice to have a strategy in place that will allow you to lock in your lifestyle today, that you might be able to continue the lifestyle that you have all the way through to the end? If this program seems like it'd be something you'd be interested in looking into, go ahead and send me a text message with a phone number that's on your card that's hanging on your door, or it's in your hand right now. Or you can respond to this video and actually have a form that you can fill out, and it'll send us some information. We can give you a call and set up a time to meet with you. The meeting is It's a 10-15 minute call. There's nothing to sell or buy on this call. It's just an informational conversation to find out if you qualify for some of the decumulation programs that we offer. So I hope this was helpful, and have a great day.